Should Pep Guardiola be sacked by Manchester City is the question on everybody's mind right now after Man City have only registered one win in their last 12 games. And well, the answer to that question is yes. Okay, well, I might have lied just a little bit because what I just said isn't entirely true. Well, yes, on paper, only winning one game in your last 12 is a sackable offence. Is a 100% a sackable offence, and he should probably lose his job just based on that alone. And if he was anybody else managing any other team, let's say he was Scott Parker managing Bournemouth, and he only won one game in his last 12, he would lose his job. 100%. But we're not talking about Scott Parker and we're not talking about Bournemouth. We're talking about Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. So yes, it is extremely unheard of for Pep Guardiola to go on a run of just one win in 12. But at the same time, Pep Guardiola can achieve things that nobody else can. Pep Guardiola can do things that nobody else can. So is it really against all realms of possibility that Guardiola will turn this around? No, not completely. I do think there are situations and outcomes of this situation where Pep Guardiola loses his job, and I will discuss those later in the video. But as of right now, and as of everything that has happened, I think his job is safe. But what would it take for Pep Guardiola to lose his job this season at Manchester City? So yes, like I said, Guardiola has won one game in the last 12 in all competitions with Manchester City, which I think should see any other manager sacked. But not every other manager has won 6 Premier League titles, 4 League Cups, 2 FA Cups, 3 Community Shields, a Champions League, a Super Cup, a Club World Cup, a treble, 4 Premier League titles in a row, and recorded the most ever points in a Premier League season. No other manager's done that. So yes, he is, has credit in the bank. He's allowed some poor performances because of how much he's done for the club. But some people would deem him unsackable. And I think that's stupid. I think that's ludicrous. Because I don't think any manager should ever be unsackable. You look at Fergie at United, Wenger at Arsenal, Klopp at Liverpool, right? And Pep at City. I don't think any of those managers should have ever been unsackable. And if it ever reached a point where they should have been sacked, they should be sacked. A prime example, Jose Mourinho, Chelsea, was for a period of time their best manager. The best manager they had, a club legend. But it got to a point where his performances were so bad in his second stint at the club that he had to be sacked. And yes, he felt disrespected by that. As a club legend, they sacked a club legend. But it had to be done. Right? And I'm not saying Pep's at that point right now. But I'm saying there is a possibility for it to get to that point. And if that point is reached, he should be sacked. I don't think any manager is unsackable. I don't think anyone is ever bigger than the club. Ever. Well, in like a few cases, maybe. But on the whole, I don't think anyone's ever bigger than the club. And if their performances are not up to the standard of the club, they should be sold if they're a player or sacked if they're a manager. And that's what I believe. That might be a hot take, but I don't believe anyone is ever unsackable or undroppable or anything, right? Everybody's place is up for grabs and could be lost at any point. Okay, so what would it take for me to 100% believe, without a doubt, that Pep Guardiola should lose his job at City, right? Because I'm very on the fence about the idea. I'm very, very on the fence about the idea right now, given how performances are going. And not going to lie, after every game, at the moment, I am saying he should lose his job in head loss. I will raise my hand and I'll admit that. After every game, after the United game and after the Villa game, straight away I've said I need him sacked. And that is why you've not been seeing videos of me doing reviews of the game, because I would be speaking in utter head loss and I would probably regret a lot of what I say. And I wouldn't talk in very I wouldn't be in a sound state of mind. Because some of the stuff I've said after the games is a bit crazy, because I have called for him to be sacked on numerous occasions after those 2 games. And do I 100% believe that he should be sacked? No, not really. But I think we are approaching a point where he could potentially lose his job. And what is that point? Well, we're out of the title race as it is, right? We're out of the title race as it is. No one can tell me any different that we're not out of the title race, right? We're 100% out of the title race. If we find ourselves out of the Champions League in the early stages of the Champions League, whether that be us getting knocked out of the league phase, getting knocked out in that little knockout round to like the qualification knockout round, if we don't finish in the automatics, which I don't think we will, if we get knocked out in that, or if we get knocked out in the round after that, and add that on top of not making any signings in January, if we do not make any signings in January and we're out of the Champions League in the early stages, I think he should probably lose his job. And that might be a hot take for some, because I know a lot of people, a lot of City fans are very much of the idea that Pep is unsackable and should never lose his job. But I think, realistically speaking, if no signings are made in January, because I firmly believe that all the problems we have right now can't be solved with the current squad. It can't. If the problems we have right now could be solved with the current squad of players we have available, it would have been solved right now. But it hasn't been solved because the players we have can't solve that issue. You've seen all of the different combinations we've played. We've used both of our goalkeepers. We've used youth players in the back line. We've used basically all of our defenders comboed with each other. We still get the same result. All of the midfield pairings we've used, same result. Wing pairings, same result. And I would say striking options, but we've got one. So it's the same result regardless because we've got one striker, right? We're getting the same results basically with whatever team we put out, because there is no solution to this problem with the current personnel at the club. So I definitely think there are signings that should be made in January. Whether I know who those signings are right now, I don't. I personally, I don't. There are a few names that I've seen thrown around, but as of right now, I'm not 100% sure who to bring in to fix those issues, right? But signings do have to be made. And I would probably say Bruno from Newcastle, it would be a step in the right direction to even put in a bid for him and look like we want to go for him, yeah? We just need someone that has energy in the midfield, someone that's got legs, someone that can run, someone that can do all the dirty work. We need somebody that can do that in the midfield. That is for one. A right back would also be nice, and a backup striker would also be nice. But I don't really have names for those two positions off the top of my head. So, the problems can't be solved with the personnel we have now. So signings need to be made. And if they're not made, then we need to figure out something with this squad, which, I don't think will happen. And if we don't make any signings and we get dumped out of the Champions League early, which means we are playing for top 4 in the FA Cup, which, if I'm honest, I don't think we'll go far in the FA Cup either. I think if we're knocked out of the Champions League and we are battling for top 4, which, as of right now, and the form of the teams around us, I think will be very, very difficult for us to secure top 4 with how good Forest look, Villa look, Chelsea look, Liverpool look, even Arsenal. You know, they're coming out of a rough patch of form, although Saka has been injured, which could deal them a huge blow coming into the rest of the season. You know, I still fancy their chances. I don't think top 4 is guaranteed. If we find ourselves scrapping for top 4, out of Champions League early, with no signings in January, I think that would be the nail in the coffin for Guardiola. Because he's got 2 years left after this season. And if we show no signs of trying to rebuild and change the squad in January, then I don't think there's any hope for the squad after that. Again, I might be wrong, and we might come into the next season in summer and completely rebuild. But given how much we've spent in the last 2-3 summers, I don't think a big squad overhaul would happen in just one summer. So that's my take on it. I think that is the way that Guardiola loses his job. Do I want to see Guardiola lose his job? No. I love Pep. But it can't continue like this. No, it can't continue like this. And if he's deemed unsackable, and people think he's unsackable, what would stop him from just constantly putting up performances like this? Let's say he's lost all passion, right? Which would obviously be weird considering he's just signed an extension to his contract. But let's say he has lost all passion and he's deemed unsackable. What would actually stop him from just putting up performances like this with the squad? Where would it have to get to for the people that think he's unsackable for him to get sacked? That's a question. That's a completely hypothetical question because I don't think he would self-sabotage like that. But that's a hypothetical question I just like to pose to people that think he's completely unsackable. But yeah, with all that being said, that's really my take on it. I don't think he should be sacked right now, despite what I say after every match day. Because there's even a few tweets of me saying that he should be sacked immediately because, yeah, I get a little bit agitated after we lose. But when looking at it from a level-headed point of view, no, I don't think he should be sacked now, and I don't really want him to see him sacked. But if that worst-case scenario that I just stated happens, then I think he should lose his job. Replaced by who? I don't know, because the manager market's washed right now. But, like, that is the only way I see him losing his job. But again, you know, like the video if you enjoyed. Comment down below your thoughts on this Manchester City situation, and obviously like the video if you're enjoying this Manchester City downfall, because I know a lot of you are. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're really close to 700 subscribers. Can we please get that before January 1st, which is literally 2 weeks away? So, you know, it'd be great if you guys could reach that goal. And obviously, if this is the first video of mine you're watching, please do check out the rest of the videos on the channel. It might even further encourage you to subscribe. With all that being said, I've been Nathan. I hope you guys all have a good Christmas for all of you that celebrate, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Shut down cases, they belly dots to the can't see faces, chasing to the bad guy chase it. You don't wanna be the one like Ace and like G takes and tell him I'm wasted. Aye, tell a bad bitch come break it, body come mad, come shake it, shit then get back to the basics, bro, done shut down cases, they belly dots to the